Welcome, everyone, to the Annual Association of Fundraising Professionals Charlotte Chapter National Philanthropy Day Luncheon. So very good to see you all. So listen, you have the best seat in the house online, of course, on Lunch Pool, but we also want to take the time to honor all of the beautiful people here in the room, acting as our live studio audience, giving me a whole lot of Oprah, but especially the power of community. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we hope that you all can feel the energy here. We're so very honored to have you watching and each and every one of you in your seats as well. So this year's theme is the power of community. And when I tell you this is something that I absolutely adore, literally, even my sneakers today are courtesy of the National Coalition of Charlotte Youth. They made my sneakers today. So when it comes to all things community and the power of community, it means a lot to me, okay? And also, and especially to the beautiful people in this room and you watching online. So for those who are new to this online thing called Lunch Pool, it's a lot like Zoom, but with a little bit of a twist. So for about 10 seconds, I want to go over some basics with you so we can make sure that your experience is everything and so much more. So you will see on the Lunch Pool app, if you would, that it works better when you are on a desktop. So if you are on a mobile device, if you're on a tablet, it's no problem, but we want you to get the full experience. You can see the videos and hear all of the beautiful people that will come up to the mic. So please do your best to access a desktop so you can, once again, get the best experience. Also, you would have the opportunity to chat with your table mates on Lunch Pool, okay? And you will see that how you can do so is by different floors. So per each floor, you can pick a topic, you can talk to those at your table, and let's talk about the power of networking, and that is the goal for today. So listen, we want you to get to know the people that you are sitting beside. We want you to talk to everybody on different floors, and we especially want you to discuss what is the power of community. So now, enough about me and me talking. I want to turn the mic over to you and yours watching online. We have a few prompts that we would like for you to engage in with your table mates, and also here live, we would like for you all to engage as well. The question is, what does the power of community mean to you? So we're going to take the next 10 minutes or so for you all to get to know each other and collaborate and network. And once again, that prompt is, what does the power of community mean to you? We will be back in a second. Get to know your table mates in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, beautiful people, and to our online audience, we would like to apologize. We had some technical difficulties, but the good news is you are still our VIPs and you did not miss anything. I would like to welcome you and yours to the second edition, the second year of National Philanthropy Day Luncheon. We're so happy to have you and all of the industries that you represent. Thank you so much for joining us. And since you didn't miss anything, I do have a couple questions for you to just keep in mind as this year's theme is the power of community. So things that we want you to continuously keep your heart and mind on is, what does the power of community mean to you? How do you celebrate the power of community during trying times? What is philanthropy's role in the power of community? And where do you see the power of community in Charlotte, okay? So for all of our online audience, once again, we would like to say thank you. You didn't miss anything, but this theme is the power of community. So we want you to continuously keep doing the good work and including those in your conversations, okay? And we also have an amazing live, awesome people here reporting live. Yes, indeed. So we wanted to give you the vibes and definitely bring it back around for an awesome welcome because once again, you are VIP and we want to give you the best experience possible. Now, without further ado, I have the honor of introducing a woman who is all things commitment, all things servant leadership, and she is an amazing woman, if I may brag just a little bit. So Caitlin serves as the Chief Advancement and Finance Officer for Safe Alliance, overseeing resource development, financial operations, and community engagement for Mecklenburg County, NC's largest domestic violence and sexual assault nonprofit. She has worked in Charlotte's nonprofit sector for over 15 years. She continues to show up for our community, and I am honored to introduce to you all Miss Caitlin Donnelly.
Thank you, Ahavia. It is such a pleasure to be with you here today, to recognize the outstanding contributions made in support of our Charlotte community, to share some much-needed time with colleagues, and to celebrate the power of community. Since the last time we gathered a year ago, we have continued to see the power of community impact Charlotte. This can be found in the important work of our honorees today. One thing resonating more loudly today than ever is gratitude. Thankfulness for the gifts both large and small. Many of you may be familiar with the Gail Perry Group consulting firm and their weekly online newsletter for fundraising professionals. Gail Perry and her business partner, Dr. Catherine Gamble, recently partnered with AFP Charlotte and Triad chapters to host a virtual event titled Moving Your Fundraising Forward in 2021. Despite a turbulent time in our community and our country, Gail and Catherine shared there has never been a better time for fundraising. In fact, giving grew 10.6% from 2019 to 2020, according to the AFP Fundraising Effectiveness Project. They also identified a giving trend that really shows the power of community. According to Bank of America's study of high net worth donors, 93% of those donors maintained or increased their gifts to frontline organizations. And of those who gave to frontline organizations, 90% gave locally. These donors empowered their communities and the organizations doing the important work during these difficult times. The fact that so many of you are in attendance today is a testament to the commitment to community found in AFP Charlotte's members. We are more than 270 members strong, representing more than 180 organizations locally. Not only are members and donors celebrating the power of community, but so are nonprofit organizations who have continued to fundraise in the face of the pandemic. While COVID has knocked many of us and our organizations back, it has certainly not curtailed the important work that we do every day. In many ways, the current environment has underscored the importance of your contributions. AFP continues the critical professional development and networking opportunities for our members. We have redoubled our efforts in expanding inclusion, diversity, equity, and access, our IDEA platform with our members and nonprofits throughout Charlotte. This continues the work of last summer's 8-week diversity dialogue series in our book club this year. We are also in the 3rd year of our strategic plan, focused on talent recruitment, continuing to broaden our base with a diverse membership, and using our collective voices for policy advocacy in support of our mission. We are proud of the local excellence of AFP Charlotte chapter and to be part of a larger global conversation as AFP members. We are a volunteer-led and run organization, and I want to take a moment to personally thank our board and committee members and offer a special shout out to the organizing group behind today's luncheon. Tireless effort and planning goes into these events, and your work is so appreciated. Sponsors are also vital to the success of our outreach work in Charlotte. We are so fortunate to enjoy the support of our chapter sponsor, Boingo, and I'd like to thank them for all the ways they support our community's nonprofits. I'd also like to thank Southminster, the South Charlotte retirement community, who has generously underwritten the cost of our restaurant partnership. This has allowed us to provide gift cards and boxed lunches from Roots Cafe today. We are also grateful to our Heart of Gold sponsors, the Foundation for the Carolinas, the Foundation of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Charlotte, and Lake Norman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and Gastonia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. These incredibly generous sponsors truly know the meaning of changing the world with a giving heart. Please check your digital event program in the chat feature to learn more about all of National Philanthropy Day's generous sponsors and supporters. I also want to recognize and thank Kim Bratton Media for creating the event videos and for live streaming our virtual luncheon today. The honorary videos we'll share in a few moments, created by Kim and her team, are as special as the folks being recognized. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to Ahavia.
That was amazing, Caitlin, and thanks to all who had a hand in making sure that we can honor our servant leaders here in the city of Charlotte and beyond. And it is no surprise, friends, that 2020 definitely held its challenges, but I definitely found my own inspiration in the power of community. Us coming together to do this good work together is definitely what makes my heart skip a beat. So now, without further ado, I get to have the best seat in the house and introduce all of these amazing servant leaders that we will honor today, starting with the recipient, Mr. Justin Perry, and soon you will hear from a good colleague, Miss Kirsten. But before we get to all of the awesome things, take a look at this video for the awesome work that Mr. Perry is doing.
One MEC is a grassroots coalition of folks that got together to address the resegregation of Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. And one of the things we focused on was the interconnection between schools and housing. And so what we advocate for are policies and practices to end consolidating high poverty schools as well as high poverty neighborhoods. There's definitely been a lot of synergy because of the YWCA's commitment to addressing and eliminating racism, but also empowering women. And one of the things that we know is that some of the people who are most disproportionately impacted by the lack of affordable housing and low wages we have in our community are women, and women with children in particular. And so in working with the YW, one of the things we did was work in terms of changing the narrative. So we used forums to kind of help educate people on that. And eventually it led to the YW also using their own property to expand access for folks in that income bracket. So they not only talked about it, but they actually lived out the mission. One of the things that's really important to understand was that no one person can make these things happen. No one entity can make these things happen, but how do we collaborate and how do we all kind of work within our sphere of influence? I think sometimes people use the word community very loosely and it just means a bunch of people, right? But when we use the word community, what we mean is actually connecting. One MEC would like to see sustainable Charlotte-Mecklenburg community where children and families of various backgrounds can have high educational outcomes, can have sustainable housing, and we can actually be a community.
Good afternoon, I'm Kirsten Sickley. I have the privilege of serving as CEO for YWCA Central Carolinas. Justin Perry's been a partner in YWCA's mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all people for years, serving in partnership, moderating panels, convening focus groups for our staff, and consulting with our leadership team to help us lean all the way into the mission I just shared. He's clear and compelling on any platform, social media, newspaper columns, public hearings, and protests. His message is always one of inclusion and healing. He's not afraid to use his voice, and we're all better for it. We're one of but many organizations where Justin amplifies his commitment to equity. He serves on the boards of Center for Community Transitions and the Community Building Initiative. He consults with an array of organizations committed to positive change, such as Safe Alliance and Heart Math Tutoring, and he's a devoted volunteer. As part of his advocacy work, Justin co-founded One MEC, a grassroots organization seeking equity and integration in both education and housing. From his therapy practice, to his civic voice, to his equity consulting, to his volunteerism, all that Justin does is designed to help our community and its organizations and its residents to heal. YWCA Central Carolinas is honored to count Justin Perry as a champion of our mission and so many others, and we are excited to have nominated him and for him to be selected as the Outstanding Champion of Diversity Award recipient. Congratulations, Justin Perry.
Wow, this is humbling. Respecting time, I want to start by offering a few thanks. I want to first thank AFP for recognizing me for this award and also for the work you do in the community. I want to thank the YWCA for thinking to nominate me and for doing work at all levels of change. I also want to thank you for the hard work it took in wrangling me to complete the application. I want to thank Safe Alliance and Heart Math Tutoring for your recommendations as well as for partnerships in the important work of equity. I want to thank members from One MEC for being willing to be a part of advocating for things that may not always be popular, but are always necessary. I want to thank my family at the Educational Equity Institute for doing the work of transformational change in organizations in the community through the work of education, challenging, and healing. I thank CMS Schools for pushing me to be an engaged citizen from the time that I was a child growing up here in Charlotte. The Grove Church for giving me a space to just be and to be fed. I want to thank my family, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my mother-in-law, and all of my extended family for the support you provided for me growing up as a kid, but also now as an adult and supporting my own kids. I also want to thank my children for challenging me to live up to the things that I talk about. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank my wife, who is here with me today, for being the glue to our family, the mirror that I often need, and more often than not, the wiser of the two of us. I'm grateful for your love and support and to be on this journey with you. I'm going to conclude by challenging all of us in this room to work ourselves out of a job. When I went to the UNC School of Social Work, that's what I was taught to do. My work as a therapist actually benefits from a world of chaos. And yet, as a social worker, I'm compelled to be an agent to bring about community healing. Martin Luther King once said that philanthropy is commendable, but it should not allow the philanthropist to not recognize the economic injustice which makes philanthropy necessary to begin with. I'm going to challenge everybody in this room to think about causes that you care about, and then I'm going to challenge all of us to think about the policies at the local, state, and federal levels that make the services we provide and our donations necessary. Underfunded schools, underpaid essential workers, and lack of affordable housing aren't simply market forces. They're repeated human choices. After multiple centuries of the same thing, I think it's time that we choose different. I thank you all for this honor, and I thank you for your time.
Truly, truly a champion of diversity. Next up, for the outstanding fundraising executive video, take a look at the amazing work that Miss Donna Canzano-Stucker is doing.
I think animals are just a huge part of the fabric of our society. So I think taking care of them, it really just takes care of the community in general, and they just play such a pivotal role in people's lives. So taking care of them, I think, is important to really making sure we have a healthy community overall. The power of community here in Charlotte is one where we're about raising each other up and collaborating, and it's not just about individual gain, and I think that's something that I'm very proud of to be part of with our organization and the organizations that we partner with. We really are all in it together, and I think the power of community is just coming together, banding together, and rising as a group as opposed to individuals. 2022 is a really pivotal year for us as we are building a brand new shelter. So I think my biggest wish is a successful grand opening of our new Animal Resource Center and a place that really becomes a destination for our community, where people can come together in a safe, happy environment that just has the thread of animals throughout. The community that surrounds the Humane Society of Charlotte is extremely passionate, dedicated, caring, and it's pretty cool to see and be able to be part of that.
Good afternoon. I'm Shelley Moore, President and CEO of the Humane Society of Charlotte, and I'm proud to introduce you to the recipient of the AFP Charlotte Chapter's 2021 Outstanding Fundraising Executive, Donna Canzano-Stucker. Donna has served in her role with the Humane Society for more than 13 years. In that time, she's gone from a one-person fundraising effort to successfully building a team that has revolutionized the fundraising process for HSC and has set a pace for growth and the future security of our organization. For the last several years, Donna has dedicated her fundraising ingenuity to the We Are Family Capital campaign as HSC recognized its facilities limitations in meeting the growing needs of the Charlotte community. After years of hard work and determination, the construction of the new Humane Society's Animal Resource Center is more than 50% completed. In her spare time, Donna volunteers and serves at her church, Forest Hill, serves on several community boards and organizations, spends time with her family, and volunteers at hospice facilities with her faithful rescue pup, Frankie. Please join me in congratulating my colleague and friend, Donna Canzano-Stucker, this year's Outstanding Fundraising Executive.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so extremely humbled to be awarded the 2021 Outstanding Fundraising Executive, and I'm so grateful to my coworkers who nominated me, to the selection committee and the AFP board for their final selection of this year's winners. I've been incredibly blessed to not just have an occupation, but to have a vocation. My work at the Humane Society of Charlotte has allowed me the opportunity to meet some of the most incredible people who share the same passion that I have. A passion to serve those that have no voice and to advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves. It also has allowed me the opportunity to meet some pretty amazing animals over the last 13 years, animals that are resilient, grateful, and able to move forward in their lives despite what may have happened to them in the past, something we can all be better at. As Steve Jobs said, your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied with what you do is to believe that what you do is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. I am so fortunate that I can honestly say that I believe the work that the Humane Society of Charlotte does is great work, and I absolutely love what I do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Donna, for all that you do. And I have to tell you all, thank you so much for engaging in the chat. Ms. Donna, I think if there's any way that you can access the chat, they're definitely rooting for you. Justin, you too. Y'all almost blew up our chat. We love you, and they definitely love you, okay? So next up, I have the honor, as an Afro-Latin woman, I love my AFP family for doing this very thing, not only understanding the assignment with diversity, but equity, and highlighting people who do awesome things, but including our small business owners. I am honored to bring up the Outstanding Small Business Owner video featuring Familia Manolo's Bakery. Take a look at this video.
There is faith, there is God in bread. God doesn't talk about the beans or the rice in the Bible. He talks about our bread. Our bread unified all the cultures around the world. My business is about community, not about money. I heard about this organization here. They celebrate their birthdays for the homeless community. So wow, that's cool. So I approached this organization. I told them, where are you getting the cakes to celebrate their birthdays? And they said, we don't get cakes. How do you celebrate a birthday without cake? So I told them, from now on, you just go to a bakery and pick the cakes. A woman from the organization approached me and she says, are you a cake guy? I said, I guess so. And she says, you know that you saved a life yesterday. She says, we got around our neighbor and we started singing the happy birthday and he started crying. And we asked him, why are you crying? He says, because it was his first time in his life that he had a cake. And he was gonna kill himself that day. And because that cake and that celebration, he didn't kill himself and he pulled the gum out and put it next to the cake. They're everywhere. They're in our streets, they're our neighbors. Now in the pandemic, we donate almost 7,000 meals. I was suffering for my business. I was suffering as any human, and every single morning I was picking up the meals. It hurts sometimes to see how cold humanity could be. There is thousands of children that they don't have a fire because the fire were deported. So this Charlotte Bilingual School became like a refugee and a symbol of hope for all these children. So I have a contract with them to cook the meals for the children. So we share the same heart. We are just one community. When you start receiving all those blessings is why I had to do something, I had to give back. And that has been my story in the United States since I came here.
And I am so delighted to be here to introduce to you Manolo Betancourt. My name is Pano Valladares, and I am the proud executive director of Charlotte Bilingual Preschool. And I believe that Manolo's commitment to community is baked into his business model. It is in everything that he does. 10% of his profits he shares with other nonprofits. Charlotte Bilingual Preschool has been a beneficiary of that gift, but he doesn't stop there, like you heard. It's birthday cakes, and it is feeding children, and it's feeding families. So 50,000 meals throughout the last couple of years he has donated, served, and distributed. Manolo does not say no to serving in the community, and he actually has mentioned that sometimes it's a struggle for the business model to have a heart. But it is his heart that actually allows us to have a more vibrant community. So at Charlotte Bilingual Preschool, our comunidad, our families, our little people, our team members, our board, were delighted to nominate Manolo for this incredible award, the Outstanding Small Business Award, for his beautiful heart and for the incredible contributions that he's made to our community, but particularly for the Latino community in these extremely challenging times. So Manolo, thank you. I want to introduce to you my friend, an incredible community advocate, Manolo Betancourt.
Right there. And right there. Last second. My bad. Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias. Gracias. Wow. Brought my paper. My glasses. Yes. Oh, 3 stories. Just 3 stories. First story. In December of 1999, I decided to move to this country, and my mother gave me a note saying, if you are going to the States, you cannot give up there. You are not coming back to this house as a loser. Harsh words. But those words are the ones who push me to never give up. Every morning, I read that note when I was in college. I left behind my career as an officer of the Colombian Navy. I knew that I had to pursue my greatest purpose in life. We live in a world too many people give up. Some forget that hard work is the foundation of the American dream. Please, never think that giving up is an option. Now my mother smiles. Second story. Every so often I call my daughter my little Coco Chanel. Then a friend suggests me that I should explore another role model. She was right in some ways. So I looked for a local hero, and I found it. Her actions inspire us to never lose hope in humanity and have compassion for our community. She shows us the importance of being brave. We don't need to look for role models somewhere else. Please choose your local hero. I did it. So now I call my daughter my little Banu. Third story. My cousin called me in Colombia and she said, my student Emmanuel, who is 9, has cancer and his family lives in extreme poverty. Is there any way that you can help? My son's name is Emmanuel and he's 9 too. I sent his mother $100. We were very close to collapse at the bakery. 3 days later, a friend of mine showed up at the bakery and said, Manolo, I know you and I know your business. You have this check for $30,000 and you pay me back whenever you can. Please take my advice, choose kindness. It's good and a smart investment to create a better world. Finally, I want to thank the Charlotte Bilingual Preschool for nominating me for this award. Thanks to the Association of Fundraiser Professionals of North Carolina Charlotte chapter for giving me this award. I also want to thank my wife, my kids, my team at the bakery, and all those amazing people who helped me during the pandemic. Manolo's Bakery survives because your kind heart. Please never give up. Please choose your local hero. Please choose kindness. Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing work, and we appreciate you so much, Manolo. Next up, I have the opportunity to present a video for an organization that keeps things rolling. It'll make sense, I promise. Take a look at this video for outstanding philanthropic organization, Lake Norman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Gastonia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Like I said, keeping it rolling.
Years ago. We came from Florida, and one of the things I was so excited about was North Carolina was so welcoming and was such a community-driven place. We do as much as we can for the community. You know, we have over 200 people, so we make sure that they get as involved as they would like to get involved. And we do everything. We do animal welfare. I love Make-A-Wish Foundation. I love anything that has to do with kids and women in need. But animals is really one that is very near and dear to our hearts. We have a committee, and what we do is once a month we sit down and we look at all the opportunities in the community. We talk about them, talk about which ones make sense for us in a lot of different ways. It's just not writing a check, but sometimes it is just about writing a check and helping somebody. Sometimes it's about sponsoring an event of which our employees can be a part of. Sometimes it's hosting an event. Now at our Carolina Custom building, we have a lot of space. So we're hosting a Shoes of Hope for back to school for the foster kids in the community. We did a holiday event there also. So it's growing with each passing year. Sometimes, you know, Jack will say to me, you can't save the world. I said, maybe not the world, but I can do my darndest to save our community. In 18 years, we've been able to really spread our wings and have a really good time doing a lot of great things. What I love about community is there's so many really smart people and people with different strengths. And when these people can get together and share their ideas and push each other to be really good at what they do, you can do so much to help the social issues that we all have in our communities. Have a big heart, you know, get into your pocketbook, give what you can. There's nothing like it. It's made all the difference in the world to us in our lives. It doesn't have to be always financially. It can be with your time. There's a lot of organizations that need time.
Hello, I'm Kathy Jatan, President and CEO of Make-A-Wish Central and Western North Carolina. I know this award is for outstanding philanthropic organization, but I really believe a company is built on the vision and values of its leaders. And the owners of Lake Norman Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram are what truly make it special. Robin and Jack Salzman added Make-A-Wish to the incredible list of organizations they support in 2013 when they helped grant Bryson's wish. Bryson was a leukemia patient who loved cars, and Robin and Jack arranged for the entire dealership to be involved to give a one-of-a-kind tour, among many other things, to this special car-loving kiddo. I've lived in Charlotte for almost 10 years, but I've only had the privilege of knowing Robin and Jack for the last year, and I know now I've been missing out for the last 9. Lake Norman Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram has been the presenting sponsor of our Wish Society, for which Robin was an inaugural honoree. At a Wish Society event a few months ago at her home, I asked Robin to be our very first Wish Ball chair. And knowing the need of our Wish kids, she said yes. She might have used the words coerced, but she said yes. I'm pretty sure she voluntold Jack that he was going to help, and together they have been quite the dynamic duo. In all that they do, they not only bring the support of their dealerships to the table, they also bring their friends and professional networks along to support the Make-A-Wish mission. As a longtime fundraiser, I couldn't ask for better supporters and volunteers than Robin and Jack Saltzman.
Right there. Thank you. Thank you.
Try not to drop that. Thank you, Kathy, for the kind words, and thank you to the AFP for recognizing us. We're extremely grateful to be recognized for this incredible honor. And a special shout out to our employees watching online today as well. When Rob and I set out on our journey of buying a business and working together almost 19 years ago, after successful careers working at publicly traded companies, we had a simple goal. We wanted to run the most successful car dealership in America. And the reason? We were convinced great people truly preferred to work with a great company. A company that values its employees and had aspirations to be a world-class community partner. A company that gives its time, its facilities, and its money to dozens of local organizations, incredible organizations at that. From the first day, we knew we wanted to support women and children in need, as well as our furry, four-legged friends in need as well. And that's never changed. Now, all these years later, I'm proud to say that because we have over 200 great associates working with us, and they understand our culture of caring and giving back, we're standing here today accepting this award with the pride of those 200 plus associates standing right beside us. But in reality, my job is real simple. I get to sell as many cars as I can every month. Why, you ask? Is because I found out over the years that the more cars that we sell, the more money Robin has to pour into our local community and to these great organizations. We've been blessed to have bought houses for great organizations like the Hope House and Purple Heart Homes. We've been part of a building capital campaign, and we've donated to numerous animal welfare companies like Humane Society of Charlotte, Lake Norman Humane, as well as Piedmont Animal Rescue. We've even hosted a mermaid party for Make-A-Wish and a beautiful child at our house. We also support Lease of These Carolinas in their mission to support foster children in our communities. And we support the incredible work they do at Holy Angels in Belmont. We've even donated interactive computers to our local elementary school in Cornelius. I'm confident that if your organization is local, gives back to our local communities, and supports women and children and animals in need, you've heard of Robin's name. She's synonymous with giving and has a heart of gold, and that's what motivates me to get up every day and sell as many cars as I can. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but was I the only one in the corner like, oh, I want somebody to talk about me that way? Thank you for all the work that you all do, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. So friends and family, when we talk about the power of community, we would be remiss if we did not discuss the impact that students have with the power of community. They are the next now generation in doing this awesome work, and I am so honored. Please turn your attention to this next video for Outstanding Student Philanthropist honoring the impeccable Emma Colasso. Take a look.
Make-A-Wish is an awesome organization. We're nationwide with local chapters, and our mission is just to create life-saving wishes that can give hope to kids who have life-threatening illnesses. So it's just a great way to kind of help them in their journey and give them a little bit of hope when they need it the most.
I was born with muscular dystrophy. It is a degenerative muscle disease that affects my range of motion, so I can't extend my elbows further than like a 90-degree angle, and also the strength of my muscles. So I was able to walk until the age of 11, but then my knees just locked up. In 2018, Make-A-Wish called my parents up, and I got my wish granted to go see The Lion King, Wicked, and Hamilton on Broadway. It was awesome! From there, I just wanted to get more involved because I was like, that was great. I can help other kids do that too.
You can really see the impact on the kids, and you can see how it's not just a trip to Disneyland or something. It really changes their perspective and really allows them to keep going on this really hard journey. So it's more than a wish.
I guess the power of community also means hope, because the more people you have together, the more people who are fighting for this cause or this happy ending, the more likely it is to come true.
In the spring of 2019, 12 high school students came together to create the first ever Youth Leadership Council for Make-A-Wish Central and Western North Carolina. In April 2020, the council led the charge of its first campaign, Wish Heroes, which was an initiative to celebrate the importance of wish granting and Make-A-Wish supporters. Each Wish Hero engaged friends and family to raise vital funds and awareness for Make-A-Wish. The goal was to raise at least $6,000, the average cost of a wish, but in 1 month, the campaign raised over $20,000. As a new school year approached in the fall of 2020, the YLC was forced to kick off their second year with Zoom calls rather than in-person gatherings. The group embraced this as an opportunity to expand its reach outside of Charlotte, and applications were opened up to counties across our 51 county territory. The group doubled in size and has more than 15 schools represented. As each YLC member coped with the uncertainty of when they would return in-person schooling, they focused their energy toward creating 2 innovative campaigns, Wish Week in the fall and 500 Miles for 500 Wishes in the spring. The YLC created the first ever chapter-wide Wish Week. The week was designed to be completely virtual, and each day had a theme and activation that could be showcased on social media. The YLC raised over $5,000 during that week, and they immediately started plans for their engagement in the spring. The 500 Miles for 500 Wishes campaign was born, and the goal is to collectively complete 500 miles to raise awareness of the over 500 kids waiting for wishes at our chapter. I'm so proud that these young philanthropic leaders are engaged with Make-A-Wish, helping us grant wishes across our community.
That's that thing.
That's all right.
There you go. Right
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I'm so excited to be here this morning on behalf of the Youth Leadership Council of Make-A-Wish Central and Western North Carolina. I want to say thank you so much for this award. It is such an honor to be recognized for the hours of fundraising through working with our schools, partnering with local businesses, and pestering our friends and family. All these people are the reason that the YLC was still able to successfully fund wishes during the pandemic. I want to thank Dana Strail for leading the council. Her help and guidance have allowed a group of teenagers to get involved with an amazing organization and truly have an impact on the community. While working with Dana and the other members, I experienced teamwork, dedication, and passion. We came together from different schools to work for an incredible cause and made a real difference. To me, Make-A-Wish is about providing hope when a child and family need it the most. Watching the videos of wishes granted and seeing the way a smile lights up a child's face reminds me that our work is meaningful. We were able to fund 3 wishes over the course of the year, even with the challenges of the pandemic. To all the people who've worked tirelessly on and with the YLC, this award reflects our immense love for Make-A-Wish. Thank you.
Amazing work, Emma. You could totally be my president. Beam me up, beam me up, beam me up. Okay, friends, if you look on the back of your quarters, you will find the Latin phrase, e pluribus e unum, which stands for out of many comes one. And when I think of volunteer, but especially volunteer fundraising, I think of out of the many people that we have in our cities and in our world, there is always one that steps up to the plate and continues to do so. That person is Jared Yerg. Take a look at this video complimenting his continuous service as outstanding volunteer fundraiser.
There was roughly 36,000 calls to CMPD last year in regards to domestic violence, and that's about a 6% uptick from the year before. So it's definitely something that's prevalent, and with the pandemic it became more prevalent. And with Safe Alliance, it became more difficult for them to be able to service their clients a little bit better because of restrictions on housing, and you could no longer put as many people in the shelter. A friend of mine and I started an organization called Beards Because, and our initial thought was we were going to raise $5,000, have a couple of cool parties, and just grow beards for 2 months. And the first year we were caught off guard pleasantly. We got 30 guys on board and we ended up raising $22,000 our first year. Second year, I think we did 35. Fourth year, we did 47. So we did beards for 10 years and ended up raising about $375,000 for the shelter. Over that 10-year period, I spearhead several efforts for the organization, but at the same time, it's everybody that helps me do it and helps get the word out and helps bring everybody together. Without the committee heads and the committee chairs and the people at Safe Alliance, I'm just a guy standing there screaming on Facebook. It takes the entire community. And thankfully, the community's really stepped up these last couple of years.
Good afternoon. My name is Tennille Banner, and it is my honor to introduce Jared Yerg. Jared is truly one of a kind. I'll never forget the first time I was introduced to him. Shortly after I started working at Safe Alliance, Jared stopped by one of our all-staff meetings to present a check from the Beard and Mustache Club of North Carolina, which he is a member of. I remember him sharing his personal testimony as to why Safe Alliance's mission is so important to him. I've never told him this, but that moment has always stuck with me because he reminded me that Safe Alliance's impact expands beyond the individuals receiving services each day and touches the community as a whole. Following that day and throughout my time at Safe Alliance, I continued to watch Jared show up in every way possible. If you didn't know him, you'd think he was part of the staff. If he wasn't volunteering in the kitchen, he was participating in a Men for Change event. Maybe he was tapping into his artistic talents to create a unique piece for the art auction. Or you could find him on a Saturday afternoon with the rest of the Beard and Mustache Club members wearing kilts or Daisy Dukes while washing cars to raise funds for Safe Alliance. And my favorite of all, you are guaranteed to see him strutting in high heels for a few weeks every year to promote and participate in Safe Alliance's annual Walk a Mile fundraiser. You know someone's dedicated when they create a custom pair of heels with Safe Alliance's logo on them. Year after year, I've watched Jared chair the Walk a Mile event committee and rally those around him to support Safe Alliance. I've had the pleasure of working with him on this event for the past 3 years and can say without a doubt that he doesn't back down from a challenge. An unexpected, ever-changing, and seemingly never-ending pandemic couldn't even stop him. Because of his passion and commitment, Walk a Mile exceeded its fundraising goals and was even as it was put on virtually. And I know it will continue to grow as long as he's a part of it. I could stand here and talk about how special Jared is for the rest of the afternoon, but I only have a minute, and I'm sure I've gone over that by now. So I'll end by saying thank you. Jared, you are the epitome of an outstanding volunteer fundraiser, and there aren't enough words to express our gratitude for your unwavering support of Safe Alliance and survivors of domestic and sexual violence. This award is well-deserved and serves as a small token to acknowledge how appreciative we are for all that you do. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this year's outstanding volunteer fundraiser, Mr. Jared Yerg.
Thank you, Tennille. I didn't write an assignment like everybody else did. You all had such a fantastic prepared remarks. Anybody that's seen me or known me at one of the events knows I'm kind of an off the cuff kind of guy. That being the case, it's weird for me to stand here knowing that right across the street where there's a 15-story building, I started my fundraising efforts for Safe Alliance back in 2007 by starting Beards Because with my friends Wendy Shanahan and Scott Doerr. It blossomed into something well beyond our control, raising money for shelters in Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Charlotte over that 10-year period, something in the neighborhood of $375,000 just by growing beards. It was dumbfounding to me, and thankfully I grew into my beard as the whole undertaking matured. And the last time I was actually clean shaven was when I lost a bet to my friend Shane at the Walk a Mile in Her Shoes fundraiser. I thought I could raise more money than him that year, and he beat me by $2,000. So he shaved my beard after I walked a mile in heels. And I haven't been clean shaven since 2015, thank you. And it's been fantastic helming the Walk a Mile in Her Shoes fundraiser for Safe Alliance, fantastic organization here in Charlotte that does so much for the community. The last 3 years have just been amazing and mildly daunting as far as trying to pivot and figure out what we were going to do in this pandemic. And I'm proud to say that over the last 3 years, we've broken the record for funds raised for that event each year. And this past year, breaking $100,000 by walking in heels. And it's a fantastic group of people that come out year in and year out and help us do this. It was one of those things that I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for the fantastic supportive staff over at Safe Alliance that helps these organizations and these events run. And it wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for my friends and family that continue to support these organizations as well. It is a great community, and we can do grassroots fundraising like this on a regular basis if you just put forth the effort. Thank you to the AFP Charlotte, and thank you to Safe Alliance for the nomination. Thank you.
But Jared, you also get another award, and that is for fantastic pictures. I was watching that video like, he is so much fun. Thank you for all that you do, Jared, seriously. If you look up the word emerging in the dictionary, it is described as important and prominent. But what I love especially about the outstanding emergent philanthropist is it's less about the VIP with the very important, but more about focusing on the people. Honoring next is Lauren Harkey. Take a look at this video and this very important person, but especially how she focuses on people.
Arts is a tool for communication. It's a conversation starter where there's usually not a mode of entry or may not be something that's obvious as a connection point. Assuming there's no ego in the room, it's an equalizer of sorts where folks can really commune with each other. I do think that in order to engage with each other and engage with the community, you have to figure out what your common bonds are and your common conversations may be. What's been really lovely is seeing how various organizations that I'm involved in, such as the YWCA, the Mint Museum, have taken this time to really stick true to their mission and really figure out new ways to see that through in a time where you're not able to do what you're used to, in terms of fundraising, in terms of programming, in terms of really how we think about engagement. I think that we can be somewhat siloed in our communities. And I think that that's a really important aspect of building community is getting outside of a bubble. There's so many rich and diverse communities here in Charlotte that we're not aware of each other and we're not aware of really what we have to offer. So having that, literally that common ground space, a physical space, I think is really important. Whether that's through opportunities for civic engagement, for arts engagement, participation in some of the public and government processes. I mean, there's all different kinds of avenues, but I think it's showing up and talking to each other in a lot of ways.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Lanners-Avenger, and I have the pleasure of being the Chief Philanthropy Officer at YWCA Central Carolinas. Lauren Harkey came by her love of YWCA, honestly. She first heard the acronym YWCA from her late grandmother, Lib Harkey. About 2 years after Lib passed away, Lauren joined YWCA's board of directors. 2 years later, Lauren is an incredibly active member of our board of directors and a generous donor to our YWCA. And it doesn't stop at YWCA. Lauren and her impact extend across the community. Lauren has served as the president of the Mint Museum's Young Affiliates of the Mint and the Alumni Council president at Charlotte Country Day. Lauren is a true outstanding emerging philanthropist who strategically gives her time, energy, talent, and treasure. YWCA Central Carolinas is proud to have Lauren on our board of directors. We're proud that her grandmother's commitments have become her own, and we are honored to have nominated Lauren for the Outstanding Emerging Philanthropist Award. Congratulations, Lauren.
Thank you, guys. Right there. Thank you. One more. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I must admit, when Kirsten and Sarah called me with this surreptitious nomination, I was a little surprised because they both know I'm not one that relishes any spotlight. So this isn't my favorite thing, but I'm happy and it's lovely to be here. And I'm also sincerely flattered. And as a Charlottean, it's been really wonderful, and I feel really privileged to be able to contribute in the small ways I can to the nonprofits that were really formative to me growing up. They inspired me, they inspired my creativity, they educated me, they opened my eyes to social injustice in our community and beyond. And they were super important from day one to today in my life. And I'm really thankful to have two parents who lead by example and that always taught me the gratification in giving. I feel really honored to be with all of you today, and I'm learning about all your wonderful stories and all the wonderful ways that you give to the communities that, well, the community, right? And that conversation. It's truly an honor. And it's truly an honor to be a member of this larger community that shows up, that talks to each other, and that leaves room at our tables. I look forward to seeing what happens with our collective future. I think it's bright. Thank you.
Lauren, we are so very happy to have you in our common unity. You definitely are the essence of community, sis. Next up, I'm so honored. I didn't know I had the cool people sitting at the table with me. Why you guys didn't say anything? We'll talk offline. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so very honored to present this video to you all for outstanding philanthropists. Literally, I had the honor to speak to them earlier, and when I tell you their heart matches the work that you will see, it definitely does. Take a look.
Three years ago, we launched the Lotus campaign to link the social services agencies in town that work with people experiencing homelessness and apartments that are in neighborhoods with opportunities, better schools.
The whole mission is trying to increase the availability of housing for a population that most market rate landlords, virtually all market rate landlords, will not rent to. And so we started with the idea that it's an economic issue, not a moral issue. They don't rent to them because they can't meet the economic requirements of living there. What we do is we go to the market rate landlords and we offer to take out the economic risk. So we guarantee against loss of rent, we guarantee against damages, we pay the application fee, we pay for the renter's insurance. So essentially the landlords are looking at Lotus's credit as opposed to the tenant's credit. And we found once they understood that, they would open their doors. We've done 327 people in housing. About half of those have now moved on, either have been able to renew the lease on their own or have just gone off on their own. So the program is really working.
COVID's been a big challenge. For one thing, it stopped our fundraising cold. The impact on the people we're trying to serve has been tremendous. We've seen the organizations that we work with really step up. We don't know what's coming, but we know we're going to be flexible and try to meet the challenges, whatever they are.
This is a community issue. Homelessness exists because the community allows it to exist. And the only way we're going to make serious inroads on homelessness is if the community as a whole comes together and exercises its power, its control, and its influence and says we're going to solve it. It can be addressed, but it requires everybody.
Good afternoon. My name is Beth Silverman, and I'm the Executive Director of Lotus Campaign. It is my pleasure to introduce my co-founders, Philip and Mary Ruth Payne, and celebrate this honor. They are a testament to taking a new approach and standing it up and illustrating the power of compassion with action. It is because of champions like Philip and Mary Ruth that Lotus Campaign is creating scalable and lasting solutions and impact to address what is arguably one of the most urgent crises of our country. Their passion and support is the foundation upon which Lotus Campaign was born. It is the reason we can imagine and ultimately realize a world without homelessness. And with that, it is really my pleasure and delight to bring up Philip and Mary Ruth.
Unfortunately for you, I've been the designated speaker for the day. I want to start by telling you how incredibly grateful we are have been chosen to receive this award. I don't mind telling you that we're a bit befuddled, and after seeing all these other people get awards, I'm even more befuddled than when we started about exactly how we were chosen and why, but we are very grateful. You know, it's coming at a really good time for us because I don't know about you, but we have been increasingly distressed and probably a little depressed over the fact that we live in a time where America's fascination with the importance of self has actually become an obsession of me, where every action is looked through the lens of me and not through we. A time where people have seemed to have lost their interest and concern in the common good and in the community. And then comes this award. And while the award is great and moving in and of itself, the best part of it is actually being in this room with you and on the internet with all you who are out there virtually. And just being in the presence of so many people who obviously care, who care about community, who understand that compassion requires action, who understand that compassion requires sacrifice of time, effort, resources, who understand that sometimes compassion requires that you do things that you are uncomfortable doing, and who are actually committed to the community. So we really want to thank you. This has been an incredible award for us. We really appreciate it. But really the thing that's most moving is knowing that you're out there. And we really appreciate all the things that all of you are doing to make ours a better community and a better world. Thank you.
Thank you. And they're sitting at my table. Also, all of the awesome work you all are doing with these videos, you're gonna make me cry, and I don't have lash glue, so I'm so excited that we are on our last but absolutely not least servant leader. When I think of legacy, you all, it has less to do with what social media makes it about, right? So leaving a legacy, money, and all these things that we think that the world tells us to obtain. But when I think of legacy, it's leaving a world better than where it currently is. And when we talk outstanding legacy, it's definitely Mr. George D. Patterson. Take a look at this work and how he is redefining how you leave a legacy.
25 years ago, so George came into my office and we were talking about what his will would look like, what he wanted, and he was really intent on, he wanted to leave everything for spay and neuter of cats and dogs. That is the core of what we do. Help Charlotte Humane Society, Columbia Humane Society, Union County Humane Society. You know, when you stop and think about community, I think in terms of it's a group of people with similar interests coming together to accomplish goals that one individual cannot accomplish. Best thing I ever did, I went to the Foundation of the Carolinas and said, help me. And they have been absolutely astronomically great. Without them, we could not be where we are today. We all love our pets. We know that pets are our best friends, sometimes more so than family. This is how all of us are with our pets. They're wonderful. He was a non-stop, great, sharp thinker. George Patterson was a fun guy to represent.
Good afternoon. My name is Libby Courier, and I am the Donor Engagement Manager at the Humane Society of Charlotte. First, I would like to thank the Association of Fundraising Professionals Charlotte chapter for hosting National Philanthropy Day. Once again, we have seen the amazing work of individuals and organizations and the impact they are making in our community. Each of today's recipients have given their time, their talent, and their treasures to make a difference. Our last honoree is no exception and has also made a lasting impression. It was an honor to nominate George D. Patterson for the Outstanding Legacy Award. Since 2008, the fund George established has supported the Humane Society of Charlotte, and in 2017, the advisory committee pledged $1 million to our new facility. And since George was very passionate about feline population control, the spay-neuter clinic, as well as our wellness clinic, will be named in the family's honor. George's foresight has benefited not only the Humane Society of Charlotte, but other organizations such as Charlotte-Mecklenburg Animal Control and other shelters. It is with great appreciation that we are able to recognize George. His foresight has touched Charlotte not only in business as a residential and commercial developer, but as a philanthropist. He made such a commitment for his love of animals that they would continue through this fund. On behalf of George, we are pleased to have his good friend, Maura Johnson, accept this award.
Hold on a second, let me get one more. Oh, you can show that to me.
Oh, you got to see the picture.
You gotta see it.
Yeah.
I wanna see that.
I can do that.
Hey, go right there. Right there. Thank you.
Will you take the picture?
I will.
Thank you. Keep it safe. It really is an honor to be here today to accept this award in recognition on behalf of George. Because George Patterson is not a household name. I will bet the ranch that none of you have ever heard of him, and I know you didn't know him. Unfortunately, when George died, he only had one heir, a daughter. She contracted cancer shortly after we lost George, and we lost Sally too. So what we're about today is showing you how one person, rather modest person, can have such a positive impact on the community. Physically, George was a relatively small man, wiry, and I think it would be accurate and truthful to say eccentric because, as I say, when he came in and told me, preparing his will, he wanted to leave everything to spay and neuter, I frankly thought he had lost you know what. Never had anyone in all my years of practice want to leave everything to a charity. Mindful he had a daughter at the time, so that was a discussion to be had later. But I am really, really sure that George is very pleased with how this has turned out. Because we sat down and talked about, well, all right, we're going to have an animal welfare fund. What does that look like? I didn't know. I'd never heard of one, seen one. So we went to work. Thankfully, we had the Foundation of Carolinas who jumped in, gave us guidance, and to this day still give us guidance. And I'll tell you, the staff there, they're not just doing their job. They love the mission of the George Patterson Fund. Well, I'm happy to report that in the 20 years that the fund has been in existence, the fund has made awards, grants in excess of the amount that George donated, and we still have a corpus in excess of what George donated. To kind of put this in focus for you, the George Patterson Fund has been able to pay for tens of thousands of spay neuters. And what that has resulted in is the prevention of unwanted kittens and puppies in excess of 100 and some thousand. So George, I know that you appreciate it, but I want you to know how much we appreciate what you have done for us. Thank you for your vision, and thank you for your charitable heart. Thank you.
I had you. I was there. I got you. I got your back. I got your back. And just to echo, to the friends, family, loved ones, admirers, and those who love Mr. George D. Patterson, thank you so much, Mr. Patterson, for the legacy that you have left behind. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like this part. You know why? Because we get to be together, and I love people, and I love seeing us. But this concludes our National Philanthropy Day luncheon. So I hope that you all got a chance to really see, but also think about the power of community. And to all of our friends online, continue to carry what the power of community means to you. And in closing, I am Ohavia Phillips. And remember, you all, that the power of community is less about power and more about getting with people who don't mind serving, getting their hands dirty so our world can be a much cleaner place. Have an awesome day, y'all.